Hello, we're out here from beautiful Palm Springs today, although, look I'm in a down jacket. It's 70.
We're Californians.
Right.
It's cold.
So I'm here with Davina and Irish and Renee, and we're kind of talking about how spirit connects us all.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, how did we started this little thing when you had an idea?
I had an idea. I had an invitation for the LGBTQ Symposium to start thinking about speakers, and I had known this master of love and gratitude about 17 years ago as she saved my life, and then this star beam came into my life.
Wow.
And all of a sudden we connected.
How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
So Davina is one of the speakers at the Finding Freedom Symposium.
Thanks to
So why
Irish.
don't you
Yeah.
So you sent your proposal that Irish sent out to get.
Yeah.
And so tell us about yourself.
Well, before I do that, I just want to thank Irish for connecting us, because it's a beautiful spiritual connection. I had known Irish, as she said, many years ago, and we ran into each other about 6 years ago, and it was kind of like so perfect because both of us, it was interesting, both of us were kind of in a challenging place in our lives, and I don't know if you knew that, but I was in a challenging place in my life, and I had asked the universe for a message to just like kind of remind me that I'm on the right path. I just moved down to Los Angeles, and I walk into a place, and there she is. And you said you had been, thinking about our work together and our connection, and yeah. Is that okay to say that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Of course, it's okay to say everything. We're talking about liberation and openness.
Oh, we are.
Transparency, connection, synchronicity.
So it was one of those moments where it was like just a reminder that we are always being guided, and so it was really a beautiful gift. And then when Irish recontacted me to do this work with you, it was just great, because what you're doing, Renee, is absolutely up my alley.
It's so funny that it's up your alley, because it wasn't up my alley. When my boss said, "Hey, we want you to plan an LGBTQ symposium," I was there like, what do I know about that?
Everything.
So,
yes.
And then it turns out that, so once we got the proposal, I don't know how we started to talk, but
I don't either, but it just clicked.
It just clicked.
It totally clicked.
And
Yeah,
then
so-
she's written a book, I've written a book.
Yeah.
And they're very similar books, but as we were talking about out there, being a PhD psychologist, her book talks about very similar experiences from mine, but from a psychological perspective of her clients. And I'm very self-centered, so my book starts with how I journeyed through all of this.
That's great. That's great. Well, and our own personal journey is so important. So you asked what I do. So as a psychologist, that's part of what I do, is I help people with anxiety, depression, addiction, those kinds of things, which we'll talk about. But also what I do is I help people connect with their authentic selves. And so within the LGBT community, it's about coming back to your own power, coming out, finding yourself, being fully self-expressed, and being who you came here to be. And it's really hard to be who you came here to be if you're hiding, if you're playing small, if you don't love yourself, if you haven't accepted yourself yet. So that's an important part of the work that I do, and I'm excited to do the panel on moving through overcoming homophobia and finding the unique gift that we are in the world. I can't remember the exact name of the
Right. Is
title.
that's what you told me you were
That's
talking
what we're going
about.
to talk about, yeah, because being LGBT, I think, is a gift from God. It's like, and maybe people think it's a sin, or used to be considered a crime or mental illness, but actually it's a beautiful gift, because we are a unique part of the human tapestry. And as soon as we realize this and love ourselves and be who we came here to be, then other people, as we're shining our light, other people can see the light that we are in the world.
And that's really true, because we've had very similar spiritual experiences. And I carry a pipe. And my experience with that was, there was a time when my Lakota teacher was ostracized for having a bunch of lesbian women in the lodge. And really, they took the pipe away from me, and it was a really traumatic experience. And before she died, when she gave me back the pipe, said, "I watched how you walked through and carried this. I didn't tell you about the two spirits."
Yeah,
and so for her to come full circle and talk about, that the two spirits were the healers in the
pipe
tribe,
cleaners,
and so, so when I hear those stories, it's kind of a good reminder of that.
Right. The Wink Day were the baby namers, they were the marriage counselors, they were the sacred two spirits.
What's a wink?
Wink Day, that's the Lakota word for two spirit.
Oh, I didn't even know that
and
word.
in the Dene, it's Nadle. But it's the people that carry the energy of both male and female. And originally there were 4 genders that were recognized on Turtle Island, which is Mother Earth here or the United States or whatever. But when the colonists came, they divided. They're like, no, you can only be masculine male or feminine female, and you must only engage in missionary sex. And so this and so this whole group of people. And this whole way of being was destroyed and considered sinful and shameful. And so, people went underground, they hid who they were. But it used to be there were 4 genders recognized. And in many indigenous cultures, there's a third gender, like the Mahu in the Hawaiian tribe. In the Indian, Southeast Asian, they have a third gender as well. I can't remember the name of it right now.
How cool is that?
But we're sacred because we hold both energies.
We dance.
Yeah.
That's interesting because on Thursday night at the conference, when we have a art opening reception, our keynote speaker is Io Tillett. And Io has gone across the country taking photographs of over 5,000 people now, where you get to identify where you are on your own gender spectrum. So are you 100% female or are you 60% female? Where would you put yourself?
I'm so open, I don't think I could rate myself with a number.
You're so fluid. There is no
I'm
number.
like
How's
water.
like that?
There's
like
no
that.
number.
Are you Pisces?
No, I'm Aquarius.
That's a similar thing. Did you, I don't know. When I was 30, I might have numbered myself more like a 3 on the feminine. But as I've aged,
It fluctuates.
right, because that worries me about the transgender, these young people deciding where they are on their gender spectrum. Because had I decided back when I was 20, when I didn't like myself, that I was more masculine and more comfortable and construction pants and construction boots.
I could totally visualize it.
Oh yeah, I was so bitch. That
I would do that phase, too.
I wouldn't have come through my fluid self.
Right.
So how do you feel about that?
What I found is that as I get older, I've had a chance and become more spiritual. I get to be in touch with more of the divine feminine energy. So my sacred masculine energy was already there, but now it's been an opportunity to balance them out. And I feel like every time I sort of consider myself trans two-spirit. Some people don't know that because I don't ask to be called he or anything like that.
Right.
But every time I would come to okay, I'm going to go through this, I'm considering a transition process, I would just get the hit that no, my place in this world is as a two-spirit. Now, I didn't know that there was a word for that originally. I would just knew that that something I was being asked to be myself, but in this body. And so that's been a process of learning to love and accept and go deeper, but also acknowledge that, I've got both. I'm very masculine and I also have a feminine nurturing side. And not to push or run away from either of them, to embrace both of those energies and to dress. Wow. I mean, I'm more comfortable dressing like this and always have been.
Can't show you because she doesn't want you to see what her jeans
just,
on. Here, she got jeans.
I got jeans, whatever.
Beautiful.
But, but it's just, that's who I am. And just to be comfortable, and everybody should find that, feeling comfortable where they feel.
And maybe is there a divine masculine in there that we just think is a divine feminine, but it's really a divine masculine?
True divinity.
Right. It's kind of like yours, my little angel spirit over here. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
We defined what the rest of it is. So we've got the Finding Freedom Conference coming up January 25th through the 27th.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be there. We hope you're going to be there too. And Davina's books will be on sale there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hopefully my new book is going to be
Oh,
on sale
yes.
there too.
And these two have inspired me to write my book, so stay tuned.
That's right.
That's
And speaking of books, I read her book and she read my book, and so
highly recommend.
I highly recommend hers as well. So
wait, how did she already read your book and I haven't?
now I'm gonna be in trouble.
Right.
It was on a PDF. Don't worry, it's hard to read that way. All right. So we hope that you all join us. And
can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, say two more things.
Okay, two more things. So one of the gifts that the LGBTIQ And I love, just want to say for a second, like the Canadian government, they refer to it as the LGBT IQ2, which is, they include the two-spirit. Instead of TT, they do it too. So one of the things the LGBTI2 community brings is that we give people permission to, be in touch with all of who they are, to love who they love, to express the multifaceted sides of themselves, because within each of us, whether you identify as two-spirit or LGBT or trans, whatever,
Or straight.
everybody has a masculine and a divine masculine and a sacred feminine side. Everybody has it. And so it's about being able to be in touch with that, because that's our wholeness. And it doesn't mean, you have to dress differently or do anything different. It's just being in touch with both the divine, just like the light and the dark within us. It's like you don't want to push out any of it. It's all who we are. So we give permission to people to be themselves.
And I have to say, for me, this doing this Finding Freedom conference was a gift from my bosses, because I put the LGBTQ away when I was 22 and didn't feel like dealing with it. And I looked at the plate and I said, okay, they're going to judge me on the quality of the food on my plate, and I never have to think about this again. And so clearly, when Spirit puts something in your path, like these beautiful women here, or they, now we know that two-spirited here, we got that there's something more to just deep dive for yourself. And I love that word, deep dive. You taught me it.
Nice.
That's the deep dive. And so that's what this is all about. What do you have to say about it?
I love it. I'm mesmerized right now by the openness and the liberation and the beauty of being yourself. I love when someone walks in, we're at Michael's house, the LGBTQ. They walk in transgender, they become uncomfortable, and they know that second they walk through that door, there's no judgment. There's just love. Just love.
Especially when they walk through your door.
Right?
Yeah. She just shines with love. Well, thank you. Thanks for watching us, and we hope to see you all there. If you're looking for the website, it's lgbtqsymposium.com. And students, contact me if you need to come. There's discounts for students, and
good.
We make it possible for everyone who wants to be there to be there.
It's going to be great. Hope to see you there.
We'll see you all there.